How's it going today, guys? Happy Monday. I know this may not be the day that you're watching it or the day that I upload it, but it is what it is. The topic of discussion today is finding something you would die for and living for it. That was very, very prevalent to me as of last night and today. If you know me, you know that sleep is probably number one, if not in the top three of most important things on my priority list. I always ensure that I'm at least between 7 and 8 hours every single night. I'm characteristically a morning person. I love getting up between 3:30, 4 a.m. usually. I love getting a jump start on the day. But, yesterday evening into this morning, I kind of went against the grain and against my typical schedule and actually wound up staying up till about 3:30, 4 o'clock. And then getting up about 6:30 to get my day jump started today. As I said, I'm the last person who will ever be an advocate for a sleepless night or neglecting sleep. But there are certainly days and times that it is necessary to do so when there are deadlines at play. Like for me right now, it's approaching month end. There's a lot of stuff I want to get in, so I'm not bombarded once the month closes up here. And I think the quote in which I mentioned at the beginning of the video is what really drives me at my core, and I think is a lesson that a lot of people could take in figuring out whether they're doing something in which they love and something that isn't going to, I don't want to say not stress them out, but something that's going to allow for them to be able to go that extra mile and be able to put in that extra, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, hour when you need to. And that is finding something you would die for and living for it. And obviously that's a pretty dramatic way of putting it, but basically the way that I envision and the way that I take that in mentally is that, find a career that you really, really have, your passion wrapped up into, and not the generic definition of, find your passion and then you'll never work a day in your life. Not that garbage. A passion is something that you thoroughly enjoy learning, getting better, something that, provides a value for someone else. So you can get that, you get the endorphins from that, get the high from that. Just something that pushes you. And that's why I say, something you would die for doesn't necessarily just mean, then the job itself, but then within that passion, within that career, within that day-to-day grind, tie things to it in which that passion and the skills and the abilities in which you possess, what opportunities do those skills provide you? Whether it's family, it may be your kids, a house, a car. Typically, it's not materialistic objects, or it is until you realize that it isn't. But regardless, find out what those core abilities that you have are, kind of wrap that passion up into it, and then wrap the personal being of what it provides to you. And then I think that is how you can kind of create a situation or this bubble or this mental space of something that you would die for, because it's the life that you are living. So it's finding something you would die for and live for it. So basically it's finding the life that you want to live, something that you would, give your all to, and then begin to live for it. And I think that quote can be said in a lot of different ways, but specifically, I'm obviously relating it here to getting yourself into a career, into a space, or into truly just a mindset of kind of wrapping your career around that. Because if you can kind of relate those different key factors, I think it makes situations like I was talking about last night, where, it got to be, for me, I'm in bed, 8:30, out like a light every night. But really, last night got to be, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30. And I'm like, and I was just running. Like I wasn't tired. I didn't feel like taxed, overworked, this and that. The only thing that I was worried about is like, shit, this is maybe going to make for an interesting dynamic tomorrow. But like I said, it got to be like 2:30, 3:30 in the morning. And I was just running. Kind of felt a little bit tired. I was like, okay, cool. Out like a light. And then 6:30, snapped up and right back into it. I took a moment to reflect on that during a quick meditation this morning on how that felt to be working until the early hours and wake up and jump right back into it and not feel taxed, not feel overwhelmed, not feel stressed in the slightest. And it's that one quote that kept playing back in my mind. And I had heard, I don't know if it's his quote or if I just heard it in one of his posts or videos, but it was a Tom Bilyeu quote that really stuck with me. And that is the, find something you would die for and live for it. And I really got into a nice headspace this morning on that thought. I kind of think back to well before I was even doing accounting or this and that, and long nights or, work would kind of stress you out, or whether it was even in accounting, but there's certain jobs and just dynamics that would cause for me to maybe, not want to go that extra mile, or not enjoy the process, or not enjoy when a situation happens where, you've got to burn the midnight oil. And I think it was because I wasn't wrapping all of those things together, and maybe the opportunity itself, whether it was the job whether it was the actual test I was doing or I wasn't wrapping it in with aspects of my personal life or whatsoever. But I think that I came to a very nice moment of clarity today, really honed in on when you're doing something that you thoroughly enjoy and that you thoroughly do love, it isn't that every single day is going to be absolutely outstanding. It's why, as I said earlier, I don't believe in if you're doing what you love or if you're, working within your passion, you'll never actually work a day in your life. As a lot of the videos that I've, kind of been recording have shown, that's absolutely not the case. In general, I watch a lot of, documentaries and, personal stories of people of all different levels of success in different fields. And there is no golden brick road or whatever you want to call it from the Wizard of Oz path to happiness where, you're going to find this career where it's never going to be, there's never going to be a down moment. There's never going to be, a time that you stress or where you're not going to burn out. That's just not the case. It's not reality. And if you're searching for it, you're going to be searching forever. And really it's going to lead to a whole lot of letdown. But the biggest thing, and I'll kind of to tie it all together, as I said, that I have personally found is that although there's not this yellow brick road to having this passion and never, feeling like you're working a day in your life, while that's garbage, there is so much truth and so much reality in the fact of finding something that you thoroughly enjoy doing, something that you are skillful at, something that you can continue to grow and learn and get excited about, that also provides a value to someone else so that you can become an asset to them, and something that can provide for you in a way where it supports what you want to be doing in this life. And that can mean whole lot of different things to a lot of different people. But that's, at the end of the day, how I see and believe finding something you would die for and living for it playing out in real time. And that's the closest thing, thought, saying, or mental space that I personally found to finding your passion. And that is a reality that I know I personally, but I think so many people could get behind, understand, and I think it could really thoroughly and drastically impact their situation if that was the North Star that they were trying to find, as opposed to this fairy tale passion to fall into their lap. And as I said, all this literally stemmed from me having a very taxing night last night, staying up until 3:34 in the morning, and then really getting up after 2 hours of sleep and jumping right back into it and feel like I haven't skipped a beat and being, just as pumped, just as excited as I've ever been. So thank you so very much for watching. As always, I thoroughly appreciate it. I genuinely appreciate it. And I look forward to chatting again soon.